how do we depreciate rental property? Okay. If your business makes money from rental property, there are a few factors you need to take into account before depreciating its value. Remember, you only depreciate the building, not the land. Okay. Often the challenge is knowing how much you paid for the land and how much you paid for the building. If you can determine what you paid for the land versus what you paid for the building, you can simply depreciate the building portion of your purchase price. In certain areas like Hawaii or California, it's really hard because the land is very expensive, as opposed to, let's say, in Louisiana, where the land is much cheaper. Okay, so if this information isn't readily available, you can estimate the percentage that went toward the land versus the amount that went towards the building by looking at its taxable value. For example, let's say the assessed real estate tax value for your property is $100,000, the assessed value of the house is $75,000, and the value of the land, so the land would be $25,000. So for 75% of your property, the value is in the house. If you paid $120,000 for the property, then 75% of $120,000 would be $90,000. That would be the depreciable value of the house. So rental homes are usually depreciated. Remember that if you have an office and home, okay, and you depreciate your house, keep in mind that when you sell your house, you actually have two procedures you have to do. You have to, first of all, you have to sell your house normally, but then you have to recapture that depreciation that you've taken on that on renting your house. So most people tend not to take depreciation when they're doing office and home. Okay. Anybody have any other information as far as that's concerned? Has anybody tried depreciating your home? Monica?
Is it true that when you have an escort, you have to depreciate it?
I'm not aware of that. Anybody know the answer? Bowen?
If you have an escort, you should not be putting your home office deduction on the tax return. You should have an accountable plan with your escort, and then your escort pays you back with the accountable plan.
Did that help you there, Monica? Monica?
Well, I know you don't do the home office the same way, but I was told, it was been some time ago by someone, that if you had your office in your home, that you had to, and it was an escort, that it had to be, your house had to be depreciated.
Yeah, many years ago, they told me not only an escort, but anybody if you're taking an office and home, you had to depreciate the property too. But I've read in later years, like in the last few years, I've read that you do not have to take an office and home when you're living in the home and take depreciation on it. Anybody heard different?
Yeah, if you use the simplified method and just take the $5 per square foot up to a max of 300 square feet, you don't have to depreciate them or anything.
Correct. That's correct.
So that'd be the way to go if you're not going to take actual expenses.
Right. Yeah. So
I'd have to read the tax law, but I thought if you did claim actual expenses, that you were required to depreciate the home still, but that if you didn't, the IRS still considers that you did when you sell your home.
Yeah. Anybody else have heard anything about this issue?
That's a really good
I haven't depreciated a home in many years on doing just office in the home.
Okay. And you can probably get away with it now because you don't have to anymore.
I'll see if I can find the site for it.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think what I have read is that if you claim the simple method, then you don't have to. But otherwise, if you're taking actual expenses, you do have to depreciate it.
Okay.
So and the simple method is limited to 300 square feet at $5. But otherwise, as far as I knew, if you don't take the depreciation when you sell it, the IRS is going to assume you did and make you recapture, but then you can make an adjustment on the year of the disposition.
Right. Anybody else? Monica?
No.
Nope. You're my expert, Monica.
Well, that was my question.
Holly, have you heard anything?
Is the exact question, if you take actual expenses, do you still have to depreciate the home?
Yeah, that's the question.
I thought you did, man. I'm doubting.
Yeah, that was one thing when I was practicing active doing taxes and everything, that was the rule. If you take actual expenses, you have to take depreciation. And then when you sell that house of yours, you have to do two transactions because you have to recover the depreciation taken.
Okay.
So that's something that we all can look for. See if anybody comes up with a definitive answer to that. Let's see. Imelda, are you there? Imelda's hiding.
Yes, I'm here.
Imelda, you're going before the EA test here. Do you know the answer?
No, I don't know the answer. Hold on, let me think. Is it for an S corp or for? Because I've done it on the.
I was specifically asking regarding an escort.
Yeah, I haven't done it on an S corp, only on Schedule C. So I could.
If you do an S corp though, the owner of the S corp should take actual expenses and include depreciation in the accountable plan, and then the S corp reimburses it for it. But then depreciation isn't actually taken, so you don't pay anything back. That's easier.
Say that again.
If you're using an S corp, and then in order to take the home office deduction, if you're an S corp owner, you have to have an accountable plan with your S corp. But included in your accountable plan should be the percentage of your mortgage, interest, property tax, all that stuff. But then also how much you would have been depreciating if you were not an S corp. That should be included in the accountable plan that you give to your S corp that they reimburse you for, and then the S corp takes the deduction. And doing so does avoid you depreciating on your home and having to pay it back.
But then wouldn't that be rental fees on your 1040?
No, it's not taxable income for the S corp owner, because the S corp is reimbursing you as the employee for using your home.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay, so hold on. So an S corp working out of their home, if it's an S corp and they are working out of their home, they can take a depreciation deduction and not
If
claim
it's part of
that
the
as
accountable
income.
plan.
Okay.
Because I'm just going to irs.gov right now just to verify with the home office stuff. But from what I've been told or read is that you want to do the accountable plan for all of the other expenses, but specifically depreciation, you can include that in your accountable plan, whatever that amount would have been if you were a Schedule C sole proprietor, and you could get reimbursed for that from the S corporation. And it's a non-tax, those reimbursements aren't taxable to you, just like your mileage.
Richard, do you know anything about this?
No,
Richard?
again, for a lot of the folks I'm dealing with, they don't understand too much about depreciation or have assets with depreciation. I personally myself do have a rental property, and that rental property I do depreciate. When I talk to other homeowners who have, or other owners who have rental property, they never even thought about depreciation. I know that the IRS says that if you have the opportunity to rent something, you should depreciate. Now, when you talk about in-home office, I don't have any clients at this time that really have an in-home office that they are depreciating. I myself personally have an office at home, but I do not depreciate it.
You do the simplified method, or do you just take actual expenses but don't depreciate?
I myself, my home office at home, because I can't truly say it's exclusive, I don't use it, I don't even depreciate it. But I have a physical office, so my physical office is different.
I think we're having some problems with did everybody okay.
Can you say that again?
You're cutting in and out, Glenn. I don't think we can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Now we can.
Okay, sorry, bud. Yeah, I'm having. We had major storms out here, and so there's a lot of winds going on, and all the palm trees are blocking all my Wi-Fi stuff. So, anyway, let's go on here. If anybody can come up with something really good, please bring it with you next week on this situation. Bowen, I think, and Marley. Okay.
Cynthia just told me that she has a client, so I'll look at it this week, and then I'll bring it. I'll give it to you.
Okay. Okay, appreciate it.